but we'll take it straight across to the press conference at HDFC Limited. Ritu is speaking to the management.
The micro enterprises business was firing from all sides. You probably would have seen it in the recent quarter. So the ability for us to organically get the priority sector assets is much better than what it was 6 years ago. In addition to that, if this merger does get approved and gets consummated, we can sort of unleash the affordable housing product from our 50% strong distribution, and that itself will feed on the regulatory requirements as said. So, and that particular, if you do it organically, the risk-adjusted return is far, far superior. Then it will not be a drag. So, taking into account the fact that the kind of platform Mr. Puri has created, and we have just inherited this fantastic platform, we are an execution engine, and all that we require is to continue this execution engine over the next several years. Frankly, my role is very limited. We have a fantastic leadership team at all levels who are so passionate, who are so energetic, and I think this is a kind of an amazing engine which is institutionalized for consistent growth.
You sounded also fairly confident you will be able to meet the liquidity reserve requirements by the time the merger goes through in the next 14 to 18 months. Could you tell us what your rough calculation is on how much additional liquidity you'd require for this merger?
See, I may not have done the math. We did a pro forma math as of the last available financial statements of HDFC Limited. Frankly, as I mentioned at the press conference, the SLR and CRR requirements should not be a drag. I think both institutions have enough excesses which could qualify for that. Nevertheless, of course, this is just at a point in time. Over the next 18 months, assuming that's the time period which will take for the regulatory approvals to come through, both institutions will be growing, so the requirement could be larger. But then if we sort of apply our minds, if we try and, because we are expanding our distribution and we are trying to step up our distribution even further now, hopefully we should plan to see how to keep on nibbling away both from a deposits franchise perspective and also from a high quality liquid assets perspective. So that's the thought process.
Broadly your NIMs at 4.5%, some of that will get compressed because of the merger. I know there'll be long-term synergies and many other parallel benefits that will emerge. But what sort of compression are we talking about?
No, see, NIMs on a standalone basis is not what you need to look at. For a certain mix of business assets, whether it's retail or wholesale, which is what we have seen. I mean, if you have a retail mix of about 53-55%, then you should operate in a margin of 4.1 to 4.4%, so that when you take the costs into account and the credit costs into account, you maintain a risk-adjusted return of about 1.9 to 2%. The moment you have, say, a mortgage product coming in, it's elementary, Watson, that your NIMs will compress. It'll come down to lesser than what we have always been talking about, especially when, today it's about 11%. And as someone was mentioning, Kiki was mentioning, that the proportion that if the entire 5 lakh odd crores of HDFC comes here, the proportion will move to 30+%. With that, the margin direction will be around 3.7 to 4%, but the credit cost will also go down. Today, if the credit cost is X, it will also track a lesser amount of credit cost. So net-net, when you do the DuPont analysis, the return on risk-adjusted return will either be safe or if not even grow.
What are your plans for HDB Financial over the long term?
HDB Financial is in a segment which is independent of the bank. They are about 2 notches below. It's a very well-run company. They've just come out of a tough period thanks to COVID. But now, as we speak, I think they are returning back to its original mojo, the pre-COVID mojo. It's something that we are all proud of. It's independent. It's a financial investment of the bank. We would love to have it as a subsidiary of the bank. But having said that, if at all there is any regulatory directions or instructions that come about moving to the draft discussion paper, we'll comply with that. So we're happy either to monetize or we are happy to even merge, but it makes economic sense to monetize if at all there is a need to pair our holding in that.
One last question, sorry. Sorry, completely lost my brain. One last question in terms of, are there any kind of overlaps or redundancies because of this merger, whether it is the branches, the employees, the products, anything at all?
Not at all. We are guzzling for people. We welcome that. We will embrace all the people into the fold. In fact, we need more people. In fact, it's a great opportunity for us to really expand our distribution on that product. So if at all, it's not, there's not going to be any rationalization. We will convert all our branches into the bank branches, which will start to sell all the products. We will have all the people come in and we welcome them, we embrace them, and frankly, my hunch tells me is that we would want more.
In terms of the VRS, I mean, would you?
All right, that was Mr. Shashi Jagdishan talking to Ritu Singh about the merger and all of the synergies as well as all of the opportunities that arise for the merged entity.